Greetings and salutations. I'm Becca,
And I'm Cass.
and welcome to Act 4.
Four.
So, from iconic yellow dresses to cringe worthy dates, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days has earned its spot as a beloved classic in the genre. But what makes it unforgettable? Is it the over the top antics or the undeniable chemistry between the two leads? This is what we're going to find out in today's episode, so stay tuned.
Yeah, yeah.
So, this initial section focuses on our opinions, and we'll begin by summarizing the movie and then provide our thoughts on it. So, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a rom com where two people think they're pulling the ultimate trick, but end up falling in love with each other. On the first end, you have Andy Anderson, played by Kit Hudson, who's a journalist working on a piece um, about what women do that drives men away. And on the other end, we have Ben Berry, played by Matthew McConaughey, who is an advertising executive who bets his boss that he can make any woman fall in love with him within 10 days. So, and if he wins, he will be the lead of a big diamond campaign. Of course, they both pick each other, but they don't know what's the motivation behind their little dates. So we just can see all the chaotic things that they do to drive each other crazy. And yeah, that's basically the summary of the plot. So, Cass,
Yes.
what are your initial thoughts on the movie?
For me, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is one of the other classic early 2000 uh not only rom-coms but iconic movies, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of romantic comedies.
I know.
But
I
I
know.
think it was pretty good. It was a fun watch, although I do think like there are some aspects that we can like talk about later that weren't that great.
Yeah.
But overall, if I had to give it a rating,
Mm-hmm.
I would say like a solid 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Okay.
7.
Honestly, I do agree. I have to say, I had seen a lot of like people's opinion on How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days before even seeing the movie. So, like, I was biased when I went to see
Uh
it. I was biased. But I'm not Kes. I love romantic comedies. Kes doesn't like them, but I
yeah.
really do. So like, it's not hard to please me if you're a rom com. Literally, people would be like, "Oh, what bad movies are so cringe? they're,
Girl.
they're like really cringe." I'm like, look, if there's love, there's like 95% chances that Becca will like it. It has to be really cringe in order for Becca to
Yeah.
like hate it. So for me, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was like honestly really interesting and really lovable. But I do have to admit something. I had to skip some parts because I was like, it was too cringe for me.
Yes.
Like, not because like the acting was bad, but like the acting was so good that like it made me like I was crawling in my skin. Like sometimes
Yes.
Andy was a little too good.
Like there are scenes like I was like, cuz I'm okay with cringe, but at a certain extent.
Yeah.
And there were some scenes like the one that I can think of that really like I was like what is happening is like when she was like Princess wait, Sophia?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no. I skipped
Yeah.
that part. That I'll admit. I could
The
not.
thing is exactly I skipped them and then ended up like looking them up so I would know what happened
Yeah.
during the scene, but like I could not physically watch it because I was like, ooh, okay. But yeah, overall I really like the movie. And I think like we mentioned, I think earlier in the intro, like the chemistry was really good between the two
Yes.
leads. I think they're great actors, both of them, and they had a way of embodying their character but still showing us that they relate to the other character. Like for example, um Andy was like she had another motivation for going on dates with Ben, but you could clearly see the like switch. Like she had a switch, and people call that switch the curly hair theory. Have you heard of that?
Oh, I think I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they call it like the curly hair theory or something. Or like the girl in the rom-com will have like straight hair, and then once she
Mhm.
falls in love, her hair like will become
Yeah.
curly, you know, in a sense. So yeah. Um I think it was good. Do you have other opinions,
Yeah,
other
I
thoughts?
think at first, okay, I'm gonna be honest. At
Yeah, I'm a bit
first,
scared now.
like I feel like the first 30, 45 minutes
Hmm.
I was not into it at all. I'm sorry if it's your favorite movie ever. Look, it's everybody has their opinions, but like I said, the first 30 minutes, I was like, what? Like in my head, I was like, what am I watching? Like, what is like this is dumb. Like to me, it's like
Ooh,
no, but like
the
in like
D
a
word.
like it's not like it's there's no like it isn't very much in depth and there's nothing
Yeah,
like too in depth about it
yeah,
that but at some point like I said like the first 30, 45 minutes that's how I felt,
yeah.
but then I kind of reminded myself that I was watching a romantic comedy.
Yeah, it's not the type
Mm-hmm.
of movie that has action from the beginning. Like, it's
Yeah,
not an action movie. Like, it's a feel good movie. You know, you're feeling sad.
yeah,
You're like, oh, well,
exactly.
you just watch this little movie. And
So that's what I told myself. I was like, you know what, let's just not take this seriously, let's just enjoy. I think it like it's actually when she started like talking about Princess Sophia or like I was like like I was like okay yeah there's nothing for me to search the meaning
yeah.
for like
Well,
just
it's not
yeah
serious, honestly. It's
exactly.
just.
So yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
that's one of the thing. Another thing that I wasn't a fan of, like I get what it was trying to do and maybe it's because
Hmm.
like it's the mindset of the time that was like that, but to
Hmm.
me there were all like the concept like at the beginning the concept I wasn't a fan because it's kind of
Hmm.
like because basically what they're saying what I got from it is that the man is manipulative and stuff making
Hmm.
her fall in love with trying to make her fall in love with him,
Hmm.
and the way a woman needs to get rid of a man is just by being annoying and being clingy. Like
Yeah.
that kind of was like
I think it's because it's a product of its time. You know, it's
yes,
early
yes,
2000. Like, now people are like woke and we have other things that go for us. But I think in the early 2000, that was like the mindset, you know?
yes,
Like, you
I
have to
agree.
be perfect on their dates. Otherwise, the guys will be like, oh, well, she's crazy. I want to get away from her, you know?
Yeah,
I think nowadays people are more open. They know, like, sometimes doesn't mean that someone does something weird. That doesn't mean like the person is
yeah.
not relationship material. So I think, yeah, it's mostly just the mindset.
Actually, I think even today, like you can kind of see it because I feel like what they were saying
Mm-hmm.
is that when you show a lot of appreciation for someone, you like it's weird, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like even today, like that's kind of a thing, especially with like situationships
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah, that's true.
It's like if you show, I mean, on obviously not everyone, but if you show someone that you're genuinely interested in them,
Mhm.
and if you want to talk to them, it's like, whoa,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't, ooh, this is a little
But
weird.
I think that's the difference between the early 2000s and now. It's like
Mm-hmm.
now you don't have to do anything crazy for someone
Mm-hmm.
to be like, oh yeah, I want us to just be in a situationship. I don't want a relationship. I
Yeah.
think people have commitment issues nowadays.
Oh,
So, so
it's
like
crazy.
situationships um are really big. I'd say like there's
Yes.
so many situationships nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's just I think the difference is because in the early 2000 what they were trying to like maybe show is that you had to do things
Yeah.
to drive someone crazy. I think now like you can be perfect, but the guy would still tell you, oh, I want a situationship. Oh,
I mean, they
I don't
wouldn't
feel like,
tell you.
yeah, yeah,
It's just
not,
yeah,
yeah, they'd be like, oh, I don't feel like I want to be
yeah,
in a relationship right now, but
yeah,
we can still see each other and hang out,
yeah.
you know. um so yeah, I think it's just a product of its time.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's a classic. It's a
It
feel
is
good movie. And I mean, the ending was predictable.
very.
It's a rom-com.
I mean, is it like because the only rom com that I can remember is the other one we watched, which was the one with Sid.
Anyone but you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like how they meet when she's about to leave. Is
Hmm.
that a? I feel is that a rom com thing to like chase after the girl?
I think it is.
Like,
Yeah.
because I saw that I was like, oh, this is nice. very okay.
Yeah.
To me, the ending was like, oh yeah, and they lived happily
Happily
ever
ever
after
after. Yeah.
for now. Especially in those type of situations, I feel like rom-coms,
Hmm.
couples, they don't last. Like,
Yeah, well, I've read a theory about, like, I've seen people say, I read a lot of books, and people
mm-hmm.
say, like, after the epilogue, is the couple still together? And you just think about how they are throughout the
Yeah.
movie and if they're still together. And like in rom-coms, one of the like favorite tropes is miscommunication. But like
Ugh.
miscommunication, when you just solve one issue, is still there. You guys are not
Yes.
able to communicate, which is gonna be a
Yes.
problem for later.
I
So it's still
agree.
there. um I guess like Andy and Ben might have issues, but for them, I don't know. I cannot predict if they'd still be together after.
I feel like they'd have like this, maybe it's just me who's paranoid like that, but it's like, is she playing me right now? Is
Oh
there a
yeah,
double meaning to this
yeah,
or
yeah.
stuff like that?
Mostly, yeah, probably. He'd be like a bit paranoid about like
Yeah.
if she's gonna write something about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, guys, now it's your turn. Do you have something to add to the discussion that we did not mention? Is there a point that you think was really interesting and you would want to share to us? Well, just leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. And with that being said, let's move on to the second segment of the episode. So, in this second segment, we'll explore the perspective of reviewers on the movie. So, we'll be examining feedbacks from platforms like Rotten Tomatoes, Letterboxd, and more. As of the day we're filming, which is the 15th, sorry, of December, the movie is rated at a 42% tomato meter and a 77% audience score. So,
Hmm.
Kes, what is your first
Wait,
review?
32?
No, 42
Oh,
tomato meter, so like I guess the professional reviewers, and
yeah.
77% audience score.
Hmm.
So my first review says, every time I watch this movie, I'm so confused on how both are so upset when finding out the truth. She was using him for an article and he was using her for a job. They were both using each other to get ahead in work, but were both offended to find out the other was doing the same. It's just really illogical. Honestly, when I read that, I was like, that is so true. I mean, they were both like upset with each other, and I was like, guys, you're literally doing the same thing. Like, you could just forgive and forget and just not talk to each other anymore, but you don't have to like publicly humiliate each other because of that. Like, you both were doing the same thing. It's not something that is like, I mean, you both were at fault.
I agree.
So I don't know, it's just like it looked a bit forced, I'd say. Like, why are you
Yes.
mad?
Like, it's their ego
Oh
that
yeah,
got
probably.
struck.
I think it was their ego because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, y'all were doing the same thing. So
Exactly.
you don't have to be like that pissed off. But yeah. So what is your second review?
My first
Oh,
review.
your first, yeah, my bad.
My first review, mine is very just silly. Like when I read it out, I just thought it was pretty funny. And it says Andy's like, dude, like, oh my god, like, can we talk about the political and economic state of the world right now? And I just thought it was funny. Um, and very accurate to her character because that's what she wants to do. She wants to talk about things other than shoes and stuff like that, which I
Yep.
think is ambitious.
Well, yeah, she is really
Yes,
ambitious. That's good.
that's it.
Okay. So my second review said, "How rude, giggling and kicking my damn feet, but also screeching and crying. Tough watch." And I mean, that's what I meant when I said some like cringy moments I had to skip because like it was too much for me.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't have a choice but like to skip them because I was like, ugh. But then other moments were really cute, and I mean, I like rom coms, so it's not hard to please me in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah, so the review that I have is pretty similar to, well, it's not really similar, but I feel like it's the same vibe. I mean, it says, this is quite literally the best movie I have ever seen. This is my Joker. This is my Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I
Wouldn't watch
agree.
again, but it's a good movie.
Okay, so my last review says, "Ha ha 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 ha, she's evil," and yeah, girl did a lot of things that were special, but
Yes.
oh well.
Which one do you think was worse? Like him making her fall in love with her
with him.
or well, with him, or what she was doing to him.
Oof. I guess what he did would, like, a heartbreak is never nice, in the sense that, like,
Yes,
having your
that's true.
heart broken, I think, could, like, mess you up for like a few months.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what she did was just trying to drive him away. So, like,
Yeah,
I think, like, if we think emotionally and, like, what it would do in terms of, like, the future, I think what he did would probably scar her more
that's
than
true.
what he did, in the sense that, no, what he did is would probably scar her more than what she did, in the sense that, like, he would just have a fun story to tell his buddies. Oh yeah, I
That's true.
remember going on dates with that crazy girl, and no, 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 and people, his friends, would just probably laugh at it. Whereas, like, for her, it's like sadder because she'd be like having maybe trust issues.
Yeah,
So I think what he did is probably the worst.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I agree. To me, it's you can't do that to someone, because imagine she was actually like that, and that's was well. I mean, obviously, because at the same time, like my issue was that to me it was just like very annoying what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like even like let's say he was being genuine,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like it's kind of mean, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, him what he was doing what to me was like kind of more disrespectful than like mean or rude.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like you don't do that to
Well,
someone.
yeah, you don't hurt people's
Yeah.
feelings like that. Yeah, I completely agree. So yes, that was it for our reviews today, guys. So with that being said, guys, that was it for our reviews today. If you saw something, you read something, you wrote something, and you want to share it with us, you can always leave a comment down below, or you can have a conversation with us on our
Okay.
display.
All right. So for this third segment, the third segment is basically all about characters we liked, maybe hated, and characters we think we would be a good job at portraying if we ever were in a universe, the universe of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Hmm.
So, would you like to go first?
Sure, I can go first. So I think mine would be a bit predictable.
Which is
I would I think I would play Andy. Yeah, it's a bit predictable, but I think I would play her,
mm-hmm,
because I didn't really get to know the other
it's true.
characters that much, so I don't really have, like, I think, like, a real, not in a relationship, but, like, I don't really have an idea of how I could play them. But I think Andy would just be fun. I think it
I
would be
agree.
fun to just, like, do funny things and uh cringy things, and I don't know, I think it would be, like, fun to be behind the scene of it all. So I would
I
do Andy.
agree.
What about you?
Like yeah, I wasn't like the characters. I didn't have much information on them to like
Hmm.
pick one that I would play. But the one that I would choose if I had to was I don't remember her name. I think it
Hmm.
was Jeannie, and it's basically the one that says drama, drama, drama. Like just to
Oh.
say that line because I love it. The way she says it is just so amazing.
Okay.
And my favorite character was actually Andy.
Oh,
Yes.
she was
Yeah,
okay.
I really liked her character. I think despite the fact that she was being annoying,
Hmm.
I think like other than that she was like very easy to like
She is most
compared to like
likable.
cuz obviously I don't watch a lot of rom-coms, so the only one that I have in mind for reference like
Hmm.
right now and on the spot as I was watching was Anyone But You.
Hmm.
I feel like I would much rather be around someone like Andy
Then
than
Sydney Simi's
yeah.
character. Yeah.
So yeah, she was very likable. I
She
liked her a
was, she
lot.
was, she was. Okay. Well, that was it for our segment today. It was a short one.
Yes.
But with that being said, let's move on to the last segment of today.
So for the last segment, I don't know why I said it like that. For the last segment, it's all about the movie in itself, about the dialogues, the scenes that stood out to us.
To us, I think.
That stood out to us. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about them and then point them out. So I'll go first.
Mhm.
There were a few lines that I thought were pretty cool. Like I said before, like when the girl says drama, drama, drama. I love that. I don't know why. I feel like that would should be more iconic, like
Mhm.
just the way she says it. And I'm gonna start saying it now because I think it's amazing. Another line, it's a little random, but it's one of the friends of Ben was like, you're a vision in khaki. I don't know if
Oh,
you
okay. I
remember.
don't remember
Like, I
this
don't know
one.
why that made me laugh so much because it was obviously sarcastic,
Mhm.
and it's basically when Andy brought him like the shirt,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Yeah, you're a vision in khaki," and I
Mm.
thought that was pretty funny. And another line that was pretty well, not funny, but I feel like it basically summarizes the movie perfectly, and it's
Mhm.
basically when Ben says, "Oh, you are already falling in love with me," and Andy, like, she doesn't reply directly to him, but
Mhm.
we hear her say, "I'm gonna make you wish you were dead." Like,
Ooh.
I feel like that summarizes what they're doing in the movie.
Yeah.
And the scene that I really liked was the well, when she was at
With the family.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think with the family was like the most honest we got, and
Yes.
from the most honesty we got from Andy in
Mm-hmm.
the whole like 10 days, I think.
Yes. That's why I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do the same thing as you. I
Oh,
really just went with like the memorable scenes. So
yes.
I went with like the cringeworthy scenes and the funny scenes.
As they should.
I'd say like the one where Andy just sabotages Ben's poker night, like
Oh
by
Lord.
like
Oh, not that.
doing some cringy. Um, yeah, I would say that for me it's pretty memorable. I think that's like the top of cringiness for Andy in that moment.
Yeah.
And as well, I think when she came to have dinner with him and she just started to like put all her stuff everywhere and then
Yeah.
she started to sing. And
Oh.
she said something like, "You're so vain," and the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing like TikToks with like what she said in the song, and like it would be stuck in my head, but I wouldn't know the reference. But now that
Oh.
I know the reference, I think it's stuck in pop culture, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why the scene for me is memorable. I didn't really write anything more, so
Huh.
that's pretty much
I
it.
mean, yeah. I'm more of a dialogue person. I like good
Yeah,
dialogues
yeah, more scene.
or lines.
So yeah. Okay. I think that was it for our episode today, guys. If you have anything you wanna add at all, our comment section is open, so you can leave a message. We'll reply. We can have a little chat, a little discussion. Or you can just go on our Discord and see what's going on there. So yeah, Cass, do you have something to add?
How many days it would take you before you start running away from someone?
See
See
you
you
at
at the
the movies.
movies. Bye bye.
Bye.
Ciao ciao.